Good morning, students. So, our next lesson is the Kakatiyas emergence of a regional kingdom. So, we have discussed in the previous class about Cholas, how they established their kingdom, how they ruled, and how they appointed Samantas and warriors to collect the taxes and all. Okay, now we are going to know about the Kakatiya kings. So it was a regional kingdom. Kakatiya kingdom was not a empire, not large kingdom. Okay, and we heard about different stories. You may also have participated in the Jataras dedicated to Sammaka and Sarakka near Etunagaram, Warangal district. So, the Sammaka Sarakka, those were fought against armies of kings to protect the rights of the tribal people. So, Sammaka Sarakka were fought against the Kakatiya kings. Okay, so let us discuss. So, all these stories relate to the period from 1000 to 1350 CE. So, this was the very important period in our history. Okay, so these rulers sought to establish small kingdoms over agricultural villages and to enable their herder followers to settle down as agriculturists. So at that time, so all these Samantas and all warriors and kings fought against each other constantly. So in this moment only, at that time, at that situation, the Kakatiya kingdom arose in Warangal. So we know about Kakatiyas with the help of books and inscriptions. So the first books in Telugu were written at the time of Kakatiya kingdom only. According to the tradition, Srimad Andhra Mahabharatam is the first poetic work in Telugu, which was completed by Kavitrayamu. So here Kavitrayamu means trinity of poets. Three poets are called Kavitrayamu. Those are Nannaya, Tikkana and Erra Pragada. So they wrote the Srimad Andhra Mahasabha Mahabharatam. Srimad Andhra Mahabharatam wrote by these three poets, Nannaya, Tikkana and Erra Pragada between 1000 and 1400 CE. So we found a number of inscriptions near Bayaram, Thousand Pillars Temple, Nagalapadu, Pillalamarri, Palampet, Kodaparthi, Boothpore. So these tell us about the activities of kings, queens, chiefs, farmers, herders and traders. So number of books also written by different people about them in Sanskrit and Telugu also. Vidyanatha wrote Prataparudra Yashobhushanam during the Kakatiya rule. So through this book we knew the information about Kakatiya kings. Some works were also written after the end of their rule. Vinukonda Vallabharaya's Kridambiramamu, Ekamarantas Prataparudra Charitamu. So these books also explained about the Kakatiya kings. Okay, here you can see the Kakatiya Torana. Okay, entrance of Shivambu Shiva temple built by Kakatiya kings in Warangal. Even when you are entering into the Warangal, we can see this type of Toranams, all the sites of Warangal. Okay, next. So according to inscriptions and books, literature, so we know about the Kakatiya kings. So they also adopted Telugu as the favored language of the court. So most of the inscriptions are in Telugu and they called themselves as Andhra Rajas. Kakatiyas also, kings also called Andhra Rajas. Okay, they also try to bring all the Samantas together and they want to bring together the three regions in which Telugu was spoken, the present coastal regions, Rayalaseema and Telangana under their rule. So, Kakatiya kings tried to build a Telugu regional consciousness. Some extent they were also successful, as even to this day they are remembered fondly in these regions. We remember the Kakatiya kings very well. So important kings in Kakatiya kingdom: Prahlad II, 1116 to 1157 CE, Rudradeva, Ganapati Deva, Rudramadevi, Prataparudra. We know very well about Rudramadevi. I think you saw the Rudramadevi picture also. So who watched the Rudramadevi picture knows about the Kakatiya kingdom very well. Okay. The early members of the dynasty began their career as warriors and samantas of Rashtrakuta and Chalukya kings who were ruling Karnataka. So in the beginning, the Kakatiya kings, the forefathers of the Kakatiya kings, they started their career as warriors and samantas under Rashtrakuta and Chalukya kings. So they got the posts of village heads called Ratadi, and through their military skills became army chiefs and samantas. Slowly they got good positions in the Rashtrakuta and Chalukya's kingdom. So and gradually gained control over Hanmakonda in Telangana. So later they captured the Telangana and they declared as kings, Kakatiya kings. Like that, the Kakatiya emerged as independent rulers after the fall of the Western Chalukyas. Okay, like that they started their kingdom. During Rudradeva's rule, 1158 to 1195 CE, the capital was shifted from Hanmakonda to Orugallu. In the beginning, they had the capital in Hanmakonda. Later, they shifted to Orugallu, means Warangallu. So the new fort or capital city was laid out with a plan to accommodate the growing city population and to address the needs of an imperial capital. So Rudradeva built a big fort, a tank and a temple called Thousand Pillars temple in Hanmakonda. So Rudradeva constructed one big fort and tank as well as temple also. So here we can see the port of Orugallu. So it is in three layers. First layer, inner layer and another inner layer. So like this. So look at the map of Orugallu fort. You can see an outer fort wall with 4 gates. The wall protected the agricultural lands and several tanks within it. So all the agricultural lands are tanks were inside the outer wall, and some huts also there. So some people, artisans, were lived inside this wall. Basket weavers and some artisans also lived in this wall. So after crossing this first layer, so we can see the inner rampart, which is constructed with the mud, So after crossing that, we can see the last boundary or inner wall, which is made of with stones. All the buildings and the places of kings, palaces of kings, were within this stone wall. It had 4 gates. So all the boundaries are having 4 gates. So inner stone wall also had 4 gates opening out into the east, west, north and south. From each gate they can reach to the center of the city. So where there was a temple of Swayambhu Shiva temple. The temple too had 4 gates in the 4 directions. So for every boundary and every temple, they kept 4 gates. Okay. The city itself was divided into several quarters or vadas. So vada means village, some area. So people of one profession lived in one distinct vada, like artisans, farmers, warriors, kings. So lived in different areas or different vadas. So as Kakatiya kings became powerful, they were able to persuade many chiefs to accept them as their kings. Forcefully they made to accept. The Kakatiyas protected their Samanta subordinates from other warriors and chiefs. So that is the duty of the kings actually. So the Kakatiya protected their Samantas and subordinates from their warriors, from other warriors and chiefs. They took these Samantas or warriors with them when they went to conquer the kingdoms. So these Samantas and warriors should be participate in the warfare along with the kings. So many of the Samantas chiefs attempted to become independent, but the Kakatiya's kings sent armies to subdue them, so to suppress them. So usually in every kingdom, so it is very common. So the powerful Samantas or powerful warriors try to get freedom, and they want to become a king. So at the time, every king will send their army to suppress that type of revolts. So here also Kakatiyas suppressed that revolts. Okay. So this is the information about fort of the Kakatiya kings, how they emerged, how they constructed fort and temples. So in the next class we will discuss about Rudramma Devi, the powerful queen of Kakatiya kingdom. Okay, in the next class. Thank you.